Don Lemonhead, former Clown News Network primetime host turned YouTuber, and many others may be going to jail after their latest anti-ICE protest stunt in Minnesota over the weekend. Or rather, they would be going to jail if we had a legitimate Department of Justice head instead of Pam Bondi, Scam Bondi, who is basically just a Fox News correspondent instead of the nation's top prosecutor. More on that in a moment. They interrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota, and Don Lemon was right there to participate. Document the whole thing. He's going to try to hide under the guise of being a journalist in order to escape the charges, which inevitably will come for some of these clowns, because the protesters believe that the pastor is also the acting field director for ICE in the area. The local Fox broadcasting television station said that they confirmed that David Easterwood is the acting field office director in Minnesota, and that is also the name of the pastor there, but they haven't been able to confirm that that actually is the same person. And whether or not it is or is not is irrelevant. The lunatic protesters, the agitators, the Marxist foot soldiers believe that it is. And so this is what they did to the church service yesterday.
Guys standing up now saying, "Get out of our church." He's screaming. They're trying to calm him down. So I don't know if this is what they deem as successful or not.
At the bare minimum, it is trespassing, it is disorderly conduct, and it may actually be a violation of an old statute from the 90s, which makes it a felony in order to block the entrance or intimidate people from entering a place of worship. Originally designed to make it a felony to block the entrance of abortion clinics, but then some member of Congress added in there also places of worship. It's called the FACE Act. The freedom of access to clinic entrances, okay? And this is how, the pork gets added to most bills that then people don't even know what's in it and they still just vote on it. But that was a good piece of pork. Somebody snuck in there. A conservative obviously snuck that in there. And so we'll see. I highly doubt that Scam Bondi has she doesn't have the balls, literally or figuratively, to actually charge anybody with this violation. But people like this are definitely getting, he's not a person, this subhuman, former human, is definitely getting charged with something, who goes by the name of Duh Woke Farmer 2 on TikTok. Also violating TikTok's terms of service by celebrating and documenting the commission of a crime that he is committing. Of course, TikTok will look the other way for that, but this is the video that he recorded and posted.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives.
Lavish lives by just going to church on a Sunday morning.
While children are dragged into concentration camps, you're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to...
So to be clear, he is there shouting at them. This is not just him commenting over a video.
Do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Threatening one of the churchgoers. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity?
Because they have jobs, and your supposed attack on humanity is an Orwellian term meaning the rounding up, arresting, and deportation of criminal illegal aliens. We need to have a new term because all illegal aliens are criminals, but the ones who have additional crimes that they've committed. Not only was Don Lemonhead there encouraging, participating in the harassment, but then he also harassed the pastor right to his face, saying this.
What do you think of this?
This is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So,
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
okay, but listen, we live in a Constitution, the First Amendment to.
Tom's fucking pissed that he's on a coke.
Yeah, you're violating their freedom to assemble. You don't have freedom of speech on someone else's property. You can't just break in and trespass on someone else's property and start shouting at them and claim that you're protected by the Constitution, Don.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here.
Apparently, it's assault. Don Lemonhead sticks his face 3 inches in front of yours and starts breathing on you with his porta potty smelling breath. And you just gently try to back away from this weirdo.
That's why we're here. Okay, that's why we're here. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
Unless you're here to
chronicle what
worship.
happened?
Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship. Okay.
You're
Assistant
gay,
Attorney
Don.
General Army Dillon
The fuck?
says that she was in touch with Attorney General Pam Bondi and the FBI, saying they are all over it. They are investigating potential criminal violations of federal law. Of course, you have to have the Assistant Attorney General out there now doing PR about what it is that the FBI and the Department of Justice are supposedly going to do, because Pam Bondi was too busy hanging out at the Israeli-American Council, assuring them that her top priority is stopping people from criticizing Israel.
The sad truth is, for way too long, anti-Semitism has been allowed to grow unchecked in this country.
Of course, we all know.
Yo, weird thing about anti-Semitism is that, like, Semitism is what the Romans used to describe tribes that weren't Romans that surrounded their territory. And later it became known as a way to describe people who were considered subhuman by prejudiced Romans. So really, anti-Semitic means anti-subhuman. So that might actually be a good term if you think about it that way.
Know that anti-Semitism is almost always just a buzzword, like the word racism, used to silence criticism of Israel and to silence opposition to or questioning Israeli influence over American foreign policy in other areas of our country. So she's got to shut that down.
Too many institutions have abdicated their moral responsibility to speak up. Too many so-called leaders have stayed quiet. Actions have consequences, and inaction has consequences too.
Inaction about anti-whiteism certainly has consequences. Inaction about the endless list of crimes that you have failed to investigate, failed to prosecute anyone for, has consequences, because the criminals now continue to exist. Because the criminals continue to, well, do what they do. Shortly before Ron DeSantis announced his 2024 presidential campaign challenging President Trump for the office, remember that, he flew all the way over to Israel to sign a Florida bill.
Is this fucking fat Thomas Massey? What the fuck?
Into law, creating hate crime legislation if people do things like project something, using literally just a projector and light onto a synagogue as an act of protest about what Israel had been doing and is continuing to do to the Palestinians in Gaza.
I always admired DeSantis, certainly during COVID. I thought he was just a remarkable leader, interviewed him many times. I know him and his wife. And it was the foreign policy stuff that made me wonder, like, what is this? And how controlled is he by Ken Griffin and the rest of his donors? And then he had this moment where he signed a hate speech law out of the country. He flew to a foreign country, Israel, to sign a hate speech law for Florida. And I thought, well, this is obviously unconstitutional. It's immoral, but it's also part of an elaborate humiliation ritual where you have to go not just like enslave your own people with a hate speech law, which that is, it's slavery, but you have to go kiss someone else's wall to show your obedience. And I was like, I'm out.
Here's Don Lemon in the aftermath, celebrating, quote, how traumatic it was for the churchgoers.
Watch this guy here, look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I've imagined it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery right here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please.
Yeah, that's why they put those cones there, Don, because you're not supposed to be walking there.
Really slippery, not kidding. That's what protesting is about, and so.
Protesting is about intimidating people on private property by trespassing.
What some of the folks said in there, that this is, they shouldn't be there, and, they shouldn't be uncomfortable, and this is our house and whatever. That's what protesting is about, is to make people uncomfortable.
It's normal people, the non-communists, all know what these people are protesting. Here is an ICE agent giving them a piece of his mind.
So you're reporting, we're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, they're not. No, we're pressed. We're not
That
honking.
vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
Yes, it is. That's what communism does to people. And here is Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland on one of the Sunday night news wrap-up shows, signaling how the Democrats will be dealing with this crime.
I don't hear you saying what I'm hearing from a lot of others in the party and the protesters, certainly, to abolish ICE. But we are hearing those calls. And I want
Oh, we're hearing those calls, all right, but not just from crazy pundits on TV and the protesters, but from foreign usurpers who worm their way into Congress, like Ilhan Omar and Sri Thanadar.
ICE is beyond reform. ICE is totally out of control. And this week, I intend to...
If he was talking about Congress, he'd be spot on.
to introduce a bill to abolish ICE.
Okay, new rule. If you have a foreign accent, you should not be allowed to hold political office of any kind in the United States. The Founding Fathers saw the conflict of interest from foreigners coming here. And so that's why, in order to be the president, you have to have been born here. But for some reason, the Founding Fathers and every generation of Congress after that completely messed up by allowing foreigners to hold other political offices.
I want to read you what your colleague Ruben Gallego said about this. He said, clearly ICE is an absolute problem. They're out of control, moving way too fast. The last thing we need to do again is to make the same mistake when it comes to defund the police rhetoric. Are you worried that these calls to abolish ICE could be problematic for the party? I mean, people might not like what they're seeing ICE doing, but they think our immigration laws should be enforced.
We love what ICE is doing. In fact, we need more of it. We need 100 times, 1,000 times more ICE agents in every city and every small town in America to get rid of these people.
Well, yes, but what's happening right now is the ICE agents are the ones breaking the law, not the peaceful protesters. So I believe we should not be funding an ICE operation that is completely lawless. It needs dramatic reform. You know, Donald Trump said he was going to go after the, quote, worst of the worst. If you look at their own data, 80% of the people they're apprehending around the country pose no public threat whatsoever.
They're convicted criminals. We all know how the Democrats feel about crime. They love it. Here's Sheriff Grady in Florida making a statement about illegal aliens and crime that really should be played on all major media as a PSA to help educate the mentally challenged among us.
Well, I don't call them undocumented immigrants. I call them illegal immigrants because that's what they are.
Illegal aliens, sir.
The reason they're not documented is they're not legal, okay? They're illegal immigrants. 74% of the illegal immigrants that we've detained have had criminal charges against them, okay? The other 26% were riding with them, okay? So when we stop a car, we run a warrants check on everybody in the car. When there's a call for service, we run a warrants check on the victim, the suspect, and all the witnesses, okay? We call that 26% collateral. But 3 out of 4 of them have committed another criminal charge.
Those are the people that just are around the illegal aliens that they're arresting.
Now think about that for a second. They couldn't commit that crime if they weren't here, but they did. So now you're having to take your taxpayer money and my taxpayer money and pay for the prosecution of those folks, pay for the public defender that defends them, pay for the jail and the prison sentence depending on what the charges are. So and the majority of the 26% that was left out of the 74% of them had criminal charges. They were what we call collaterals, and most of them were with the person committing the crime. And that's the numbers that we have so far.
So we'll see what this toothless Department of Justice does, because we all know that the Biden Justice Department was able to track down basically every single person who was at the Capitol at the mostly peaceful protest on January 6th, including those who just stepped foot on the stairs, like Owen Schroyer, and didn't even go in and were arrested. They spent years tracking down those people because some of them, they didn't have clear shots of them. They weren't really sure. So they spent countless time and resources and dollars to track down those people for trespassing on the Capitol. So we'll see what Scam Bondi, what Bimbo Bondi and the Department of Jokers does about this. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and if you want to support my work, then just buy me a coffee by clicking the link in the description below. It's a great crowdsourcing service that people can use to support their favorite content creator. Way better than leaving a super thanks or a super chat, because YouTube takes 30% off the top of that. So just head on over there, click the link in the description below, and check it out.
Oh, that was a Mark Dice video. Y'all check him out. Don Lemon may go to jail for this ridiculous stunt protesting ICE in Minnesota. Billy boy.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about a tale of two AI policies. Valve has significantly rewritten Steam.
People have been using machine learning for going on 2 decades plus now. So this whole AI powered tool thing, like, it makes sense. Like, it's so integrated into so many different types of software, so many different software tools that it's just impossible to even avoid at this point in history.
Steam's rules for how developers disclose AI, they basically don't have to in some cases now, which is making some people very, very angry. But then we have San Diego Comic-Con not allowing people to use AI in their art show after pushback. And these rules only go into effect after social media has a shit fit. Did you notice that? That's always the case. So we're going to take a look at this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's moreclownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. We have turned off the super chats. If you guys would like to support us, then that's the best way to do it at more.clownfishtv.com. Yeah, so we're going to talk about this because over the weekend we had 2 big stories drop about AI usage, mostly in terms of disclosure. Now, Steam did have people disclose that they used any AI tools, and apparently they're not requiring that anymore, or at least not in many cases. That's pissing some people off, but other devs are like, oh, thank God, because most of the tools we use have AI embedded into them anyway.
That's just it. It's like, you know, the tools already have AI in it. So technically you could be using another program that isn't AI to do your stuff, but you're still using AI.
Right. I mean, if you're using Photoshop now, it's riddled with AI. Like, I mean, this is where it's going to get very, very hard to become a purist because so many of the tools that are industry standard now are adopting AI. So it might not be like, it's not like you going out to Chat GPT and being like, make me a game, Chat GPT, and it's going to be god awful. But
yeah, even Unreal Engine, the most used AAA third-party engine in the entire industry, built-in AI agent.
But so many of the tools, the developer tools or the art tools have it embedded. Even simple filters, they didn't call them AI, but now I've noticed that they're even calling like non-AI filters.
Yeah, before LLMs, the closest thing comparable to LLMs was Snapchat filters.
AI, when it was like it used to just be like, oh, it's upscaling.
Yeah.
Now it's AI upscaling because it sounds better, but it's the same damn filter.
But it's what you've been using and you're fine with it
that you've been using, right? And somebody actually pointed that out. I thought it was pretty interesting. This person here, this is very appropriate. Rohan Carr says, makes sense because people should understand that we have to hate and bully generative AI, not other forms of AI that actually benefit a developer by streamlining some tedious functions.
Again, people can use machine learning to create procedurally generated content for their games, and there's plenty of games that legitimately do that. And you could very easily argue that's generative AI.
In short, using AI tool to crop complex stuff easily in Photoshop equals good. Using AI to generate concept art, textures, music, voiceover, etc., bad and eligible for public beheading. Where do you draw the line at? Because it's like I said, it's getting to a place now where it's going to be almost unavoidable, especially if you're working in a commercial setting and you have to compete with people who are using those tools. I mean, it's great to be like, oh, we're going to do everything by hand. I'm like, okay, well, by that logic, then, okay, you're going to make comic books. Cool. Go chop down a tree.
Yeah.
And then pulp the wood. And then you have to hand print. You know what? Let's not even use word processing. Let's not even use computers. Let's just go back to just dipping the pen and the ink and handwriting every manuscript, right?
You still have to print them.
No, you don't. You just have to copy them. You know, monks used to do it all the time. That's what you do. That's your life. So now you're going to spend all your life just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, where do you draw the line? Well, people are, I think, getting their panties in a twist about AI. The people who are the most, I think, fundamentally misunderstand what it is, how it's been trained, what it's actually being used for. And I think they also overestimate the capabilities. And as someone who's been working with it for pretty much since the beginning, I've been working with it because I know this is where, you know, everything's kind of going eventually. But it definitely has its limitations, and people think it's magic. They're like, it's going to magically make all the comic books and all the video games by itself. I'm like, no, it's not.
Part of the reason people think that is because companies keep laying off people and saying it's because, AI now, we can do with that. And it's not really true. I mean, maybe someday, but not right now. And it is concerning too, because you have the whole environmental impact of AI. And but I'm saying if you push it to the levels that these corporations want to, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because the corporations are looking at the profit, right? So they're looking at it purely as an exercise in cost cutting, whether it's people or, you know, paying for art or whatever it is, right? They're going to realize, and the one thing I do agree with is that the cost of AI, the data centers, they're going to realize at some point that the mundane stuff they're having AI do, it would be cheaper to just hire a person.
It really would be for most of it. And they're just trying to look at reasons to cost, but I think in the long run it's going to cost them more.
Yeah.
It even just in bad PR, if nothing else, because people in general are just turned against it.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because this has come from Deserto, and then I swear, we're going to get into what's actually going on here. Deserto, an indie dev, says he'll delete his Steam game after his girlfriend convinces him that AI is bad. I've realized the AI is not actually free, and it has major effects on the economy and the environment.
It really does have effects on the environment. I'm sorry. Get mad if you want.
Fuck those trees.
No,
I want free art.
I'm out there picking up trash, and then I even pick up the trash and divide it into recycling and everything else, because I'm just like, you know, I'm not one of those people that, you know, have to crunchy everything, but I think it is a big problem environmentally. It's starting to become one. But I am happy to hear that the current administration is going to make the corporations pay for their damn electric bills instead of letting it be foisted off upon all the consumers. So yay for that win. But go ahead, get to the point.
Let's get to the point.
6 minutes in.
6 minutes in, yeah, we got to work on that.
People are like, oh, that's typical.
Yeah, it's
anyway.
very typical for us. Anyway, so this comes from Video Games Chronicle, and then we're going to talk about San Diego going the opposite direction. But Valve has significantly rewritten Steam's rules for how developers must disclose AI usage. The rewritten rules clarify that AI-powered tools do not require a disclosure. So this is and again, I want to say, as somebody who does work with AI, that there is a huge difference between using AI tools to assist you in making stuff, creating stuff, compiling stuff, whatever, and just being lazy and being like, hey, ChatGPT, whip me up whatever, me up a cover or whatever. Yeah, there's a huge difference. Valve has significantly rewritten Steam's guidelines for how developers must disclose the use of generative AI in their video games. Valve has made it clear that AI-powered tools such as code helpers do not require a disclosure, and that efficiency gains through the use of AI-powered dev tools is not the focus of its efforts. The first of the two types of AI that developers will have to disclose is AI to generate content for the game, whether that's within the game, on its store page, or in marketing materials. The second is AI content generated during gameplay, and whether the game in question generates AI-created images, audio, text, and other content. So they're saying if you're using a tool, AI-powered tool, so they realize, like, if you're using Photoshop or whatever it is, your compiler or whatever, it already has AI, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
This is also going to change, I'm telling you, within a year or two, because they are going to realize that 90% of the studios are using AI and the other 10% are lying about it.
Well, that's also, I think, true.
I think they're already lying about it. I think they are. And they're finding out now, like, people are spending all their time, like, going out trying to witch hunt people that are, using AI or whatever. But I'm like, is part of that trying to trip up the competition? Like, yeah, we'll demonize these people, even though we're doing the same thing. We'll put all the attention on them, and then we'll just sneak our game out, sneak it out to market or whatever.
Look over there,
Yeah, look over there. Since 2024, Valve has required developers to disclose on Steam whether generative AI was used in the creation of their games. Then this then appears on the game store page in a section called AI-generated content disclosure. They do the same thing on crowdfunders too. Like, I mean, as long as you're honest with people and you're just like, yeah, I used it for this or I used it for that, to filter, or I did, assistance or whatever. I think most people are okay on it. And some people are just like, I don't want it at all.
Well, in July, fine. That's your money.
That's fine. That's your choice.
Hey, we always say vote with your wallet. So,
Right. In July 2025, an analysis found that nearly 8,000 titles released on Steam in the first 6 months of 2025 had disclosed the use of generative AI, compared to around 1,000 during 2024. And again, it is going to be the new normal for making stuff.
It's not going to go away, guys.
It's not going away. What is going to happen, like I said, is we're going to realize that AI is a helpful tool, but it is not a replacement. And it's going to effectively be really fancy Photoshop, or really fancy, because people demonize Photoshop too. I'm old enough to remember that. They demonize Photoshop.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with AI is that the average independent creator is stuck using models 2 to 4 years behind the current corpo models. So the average person looks at independent media and they see the lower quality, and they are way more likely to lean into shaming it, as opposed to higher budget stuff that uses the newer models that has the higher quality.
Photoshop, they demonize digital tablets. If you work digitally in comics, oh my God, right? You were the devil, because it wasn't fair, because you got unlimited correction fluid. Basically, you could just,
I was gonna say unlimited erase, but
yeah, you could just, like, because back in the day, to actually make a change to an inked comic book panel, it was a challenge. You either had to redraw the entire panel and paste it on the original page, or you'd have to get correction fluid, white out, whatever it is. Actually, white out cracks, but there are ways of doing it. But it was a massive pain in the ass. And then the next one was digital lettering and digital coloring and all this stuff. And now it's just normal. The comics are done almost entirely digital. Now, there are some holdouts, some old school guys that still do it, the old way, which is fine. Plus, they do it so that they can sell their originals. But it's normal now, but it was cheating. I remember people were like, it's cheating. Just like crowdfunding for the longest time.
I was going to bring up crowdfunding, guys.
Yeah, it was e-bagging. And if you did webcomics, you were an amateur, and the only reason you posted your stuff on the internet is nobody wanted to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these things. And like, I've seen this so many times. I'm like, this is just the new flavor of how can we throw shade at, our competition, let's be honest, our competition, and also protect our own interests. And if your business model is doing, hand-drawn convention sketches or whatever it is, you're not going to be happy when somebody comes in with a wall of AI-generated art. I get it. But also, it's cool if you're stealing other people's characters.
Yeah, right?
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. It said, although Steam requires games that use generative AI in their development to disclose the use, such disclosures are voluntary. So the actual number of games created using generative AI is likely higher. Yes.
I agree, because I know they're going to get canceled if they admit it.
Exactly. And studios are just ripping the Band-Aid off now. They're like, yeah, we've been using it. Oh, yeah, we used AI like for this game that you guys love. And then they took away the awards from Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, because they used like 12 AI generated textures or some shit like that. And they got a hair up their ass and they wanted to virtue signal. So they're like, well, we're totally against AI, so we're going to take the awards away. It would be ironic if they gave the award to another game that actually used it, but they didn't disclose it. That'd be hilarious.
I'm sure that's what's going to happen if it hasn't happened already.
Yeah, and people are just going to keep their mouths shut about it. They are.
But those that are out in witch hunting, we talked about before, trying to find the AI, it doesn't always, AI checkers aren't always accurate because I told the story the other day, you took some covers you did years ago before AI was even a thing.
Yes.
And you ran the AI checker through on the cover and they said that it was 85% AI. Yes. And it wasn't even AI because you did it before AI was even like available. They were like from 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I actually ran.
It's because it's actually detecting machine learning, which is, what even back then was in a shitload of software in the form of algorithms.
And some of the shadow binders. I was curious because people were finding out that the AI checker.
Like AI has been around for like 60 to 70 years at least, but LLMs are just another evolution.
Art checker was actually giving positives to Dungeons and Dragons art.
Digital art. It's because it's digital art. Whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, it was giving positives to D&D art from source books from like 2014. I'm like, I am really curious. Let me go find the checker in question and let me run my own work from that era, which was done digitally, through that checker and see what it says. And sure enough, it said that there's an 85% chance it was AI. I'm like, so yeah, if you're going by that, I don't know what to tell you because it's not always accurate. Anybody doing digital art for the most part is going to get hit with that. The only, I mean, it's so stupid. And you're exporting to Photoshop or whatever now. And if it's like, oh, this is a Photoshop file, it must be AI. I'm like, well, yeah, the person could have drawn it in Photoshop or they could have drawn it in another program, brought it over to Photoshop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's so many variables in that. And it's going to get to a place where you're not going to be able to tell. It was easy to tell early on. I think that's what's freaking people out because they're like, it's just AI slop. I'm like, well, the stuff coming out now is not, and it's only going to get better. So, you're really going to have to readjust, how you do your witch hunts. You're going to, unless you actually see somebody doing it and realize that the really good stuff is not ChatGPT. That's amateur hour, right? These people are using the good stuff, but they said, yeah, according to last year's, now this is the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, right? This is the one where you weren't allowed to go to San Francisco because, you're going to get thrown in prison if you're from another country. They're going to deport you or some shit.
Yes, I remember.
So just keep in mind the audience here. The same Game Developers Conference where they were all standing in a field screaming because they're so stressed out about the industry. So keep that in mind. According to last year's GDC, a majority, 52% of developers reported working at companies that utilize generative AI tools. So they're narking on their companies, right? However, as usage has gone up, curiosity has gone down. Wouldn't it be AI curious? 9% of developers surveyed said their companies were interested in AI tools, down from 15% last year. 27% said their companies had no interest in using them. They're being put on the spot at that at that conference in San Francisco where these people are woke as fuck, they're not going to come out and say like, yeah, that last game, yeah, that was probably 35-40% AI.
They're not going to stop.
They're not going to stop using
Even
it.
if people that are in the company, themselves are personally against it. If the company's mandating it, there's not much they can do other than maybe leak it.
I believe that the layoffs, and again, they're blaming AI or whatever, blaming the economy. I am really starting to wonder if, at least in the video game industry, they are just sorting out the people that are willing to work with the tools from the people who aren't.
Well, then again, that would be AI. Then you could credit AI for those.
Well, I guess in that case, yes, you're right. In that case, it would be an AI related layoff. It's like these people are going to be a pain in the ass. They're going to go running to the gaming press and they're going to complain about how, oh my God, guys, we used an AI filter in Photoshop or some shit like that, and it's killing the squirrels. The squirrels are dropping dead. They're falling out of the trees every time you fire up ChatGPT.
No. That would make me sad.
Or
would be very sad. Be very sad. So Carla Ortiz, I know I've heard of Carla. I think the comic book artist or something. Puerto Rican artist who works on films and TV, MCU and HBO. I know I've heard of them before. A terrible and gross decision by Valve Software. Customers. Well, that's probably true. Customers.
Marks.
Marks deserve to know how their games are made so they can decide whether they wish to support exploitative slop or not. Hiding this only causes distrust, damages the brand, and hurts the industry. Reverse the decision. It's not going to get reversed. Oh, yeah.
She's acting like it's a food diet.
They blocked the account muted. There needs to be a box for generative AI and concept in the art, writing, music, etc. Look, I'm going to tell you the truth. For the most part, the only people that care are people working in the industry. The customers, I don't think they give a shit.
But I don't think most do.
Some do. Most people, look, most people don't know how the sausage is made. You show them a book, any book at Walmart, pick it off the shelf and say, hey, how is this made? What programs were used? What would they use to, is this digital or hand-drawn art on the cover? What? They're going to be like, oh, that's pretty. How much is it? $10. Okay, cool. They don't give a shit. And that's what's going to decide it, for better or for worse. The consumer. And then what's going to happen is they're going to start shaming the consumers for voting with their wallets and actually picking stuff that might have used AI, right? That's what they're afraid of. So this person here said, want to add to this, Steam claims their AI label was added specifically after talking with game developers. Game developers themselves want AI disclosures on games. No, some of them don't. Some of them think it's kind of dumb. Because they're like, everybody's using it anyway, so what's the deal? But I get it. You have a right to know how your stuff is made.
Like I said, we tell people to vote with their wallet if they're really, really anti-AI. Like, I'm heck a lot more anti than you are. Let's put it that way.
I am for its usage as a tool trained on work that people have consented to having it trained on. I'm not for it like, hey, ChatGPT, fire me up a Batman print. I'm going to take it to the con.
Scan all these other people's works and write something.
That I don't think is an ethical use. However, saying, hey, I work for this company and we have a lot of grunt work like in-betweens or, painting cells or whatever, and we could train the AI with our own stuff from our own library to do the tedious tasks. Like, hey, we don't want to draw, if it's DC, we don't want to draw the Batmobile 10 times per page. Let's, program in the Batmobile from every possible angle so the artist can just pull up the Batmobile, which we own, and we trained it on our stuff, and that saves the artist a lot of time. Yeah, I think that's an ethical use of it. I think that's an acceptable use of it. And that's what I think Disney's trying to do, but we'll see what happens. So San Diego Comic-Con, speaking of comics, they came under fire for allowing AI at their art show. Now, I think at the art show, that's a little weird. They said the convention's organizers stated AI-generated pieces may be displayed but not sold at the art show. Now they banned it completely, probably because of outlets like the
Blue Sky. It was Blue Sky. It was Blue Sky. That's why they banned it.
Yeah. So here's the the original
Displayed
rule
but
in
not
regards to
sold.
the ban. According to the official
Huh.
guidance from the show, here's the rule. Material produced by artificial intelligence may be placed in the show, but only as not for sale. It must be clearly marked as AI produced, not simply listed as a print. If one of the parameters in its creation was something similar to done in the style of, that information must be added to the description. If there are questions, the art show coordinator will be the sole judge of acceptability.
Wait, but you have to put done in the style of. Why does anybody else have to do done in the style of when they steal everybody else's? 'Cause
Prints?
I'm sure. Let me guess. You're allowed to steal everybody else's IP and put it in the show.
Probably, yeah. So here's what's so weird about this. Like, usually done in the style of or done after, they do, if an artist does like an homage cover, right? So if you're like, oh, I'm
get
gonna
that. But
yeah,
I'm just
it's
saying,
done in the style of Steve Ditko or something
I
if
get
it's a
that.
Spider-Man.
But what I'm saying is, you have to argue that you'd have to, disclose that for any other IP you take. You'd think you'd have to disclose that kind of stuff. If you're allowed to use AI, are you allowed to use copyright infringement characters and stuff?
Well, no, they let that. That's totally fine. Like, that's cool.
I know the answer. It was rhetorical, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So unsurprising. Okay, so this is how I know Carla Ortiz. Unsurprisingly, comics industry professionals are less impressed, and many have taken to social media to voice their frustration with the policy. Carla Ortiz responded, Comic-Con should be a celebration of illustrators, comic artists, writers, and so on, elevating the actual craftsmen and women who make the works that fans love. Instead, it opens the door to slop. It can only be okay. So basically, Carla is worried about losing their job, is what's going on. So anyway, they caved, they buckled. There it is. The pushback on comic book Blue Sky was vast and unrelenting. No normal people use Blue Sky. This is like they're making their decisions based on Blue Sky. Normal, everyday people do not use Blue Sky, but whatever. It was vast and unrelenting from all areas of the industry after Carla Ortiz pointed out the policy. Okay, so she's one of these that goes through and looks for everything to be offended by. Later yesterday, the policy was changed. Material created by AI, either partially or wholly, is not allowed in the art show. There are questions. The art show coordinator will be the sole judge. Yeah, so that's funny. That is. Look, they're afraid. They're afraid of their peers, right? And this is the new thing. Now, on the plus side, people who had very minor infractions in their eyes before are being left alone because now they're chasing the AI thing.
That's true.
So it's AI and ICE. Those are the two sticking points this year. That's this year's flavor of outrage. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Whoa. Before you go anywhere, let me make your entire day better in the next 10 seconds.
What the fuck? She's barking at him.
You're welcome. Subscribe. Anyway, Tim Walz finally testified in Congress,
Joe
and he's
Besling.
getting absolutely obliterated. It's even better than I could have expected. Bro is going to jail. Also, Don Lemon, former CNN host who got fired, is now doing protests, breaking into churches and harassing people to the point that the Department of Homeland Security says that they actually want to arrest him too. Nick Shirley is getting attacked on all sides from everywhere. Leftists are crashing out. Leftists are going to jail. We got to talk about this. Over the last 5 years, these guys thought they were untouchable. They are now officially very, very touchable. But before we get into that, just one more second. A little bit of fascism in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It makes everything a little better. Anyway, you have to see this dude getting obliterated in Congress. It's honestly incredible. So this is Tim Walz. He's the governor of Minnesota. He's accused for being part of an $18 billion fraud ring where essentially he imports infinite Somalis. He gets them to commit all sorts of fraud. He turns a blind eye. He becomes rich for some suspicious reason that no one understands. He was supposed to be the vice president of our country. under the Democrat retard order, but right now it's really not looking well for him at all. They asked him a couple of pretty basic questions, and I never thought that I'd see a man that was supposed to be the vice president fumble nearly this badly. However, I do have to say, new achievement, kicked your own ass in Congress award.
Did you know the Nazis killed 6 million Jews during the Holocaust?
Wow, that's pretty.
So yes,
a rough way to start a conversation.
Or no question. Did you know the Nazis killed 6 million Jews during the Holocaust?
Pushing my button, Dan.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that's historic.
Okay, would you agree the Holocaust is the most horrific atrocity in human history?
It's up
yes
there.
or no?
It's one of
I think the Holocaust ranks amongst them, yeah.
Did you know the Nazi Gestapo imprisoned, tortured, and murdered Jews by the hundreds of thousands and committed genocide against the Jews?
Suicide woman! Anyway.
Did you know that?
I mean, technically correct, though.
Did you know
All right,
ICE?
all right, yes. So he's like, yes, okay, right, all right. Where are
Where
we
is
going
this
with
going?
this? Well, you called
this something
ICE
about
Gestapo
comparisons?
Nazis, so what are you implying here?
Has done none of that.
Right?
Yes or no?
Right?
Operated as a secret police force?
No, that's not.
Bro, I love leftists, man. They're amazing. They're a fantastic breed. Leftists are honestly one of the greatest ways to know that God is good. The anti-God party, you know, the party that thinks that you should be able to chop your penis off and to change your gender and to murder your babies. The anti-God party, this is who you end up with, all right? No bigger evidence to the glory of God than leftists being retarded. She just literally asked you, are you aware that ICE did not participate in the Jewicide of 6 million Jews? And he's like, they have secret police.
That's not the question. Did you know that ICE has not committed genocide against
She said it twice. What the fuck? She said Jewicide twice.
anyone?
Yes, I do know that.
Okay. Do you apologize for your disgusting comparison of ICE to the Gestapo, who killed hundreds of thousands of Jews during the Holocaust?
As a history teacher.
Yes or no is the question.
As a history teacher.
You're a governor. You understand what the question is. It's yes or no. Do you apologize for what you said about ICE, comparing them to
ICE to
Gestapo?
identify who they are when they operate, to not use unmarked.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this.
You guys should let us know who you are so we could kill you. I mean, listen, we had our fat, retarded lesbian on duty to run over ICE officers, but she failed miserably. All right, all the other fat, retarded lesbians with vehicles that are trying to run over ICE officers, we need you to identify yourself first.
Governor or honorable can't answer the question. Do you believe the Nuremberg trials were a good exercise in holding the Nazis accountable?
Oh, shit.
Yes or no?
I think due process.
Okay, so are you calling for ICE agents to be brought to a tribunal under the threat of death by comparing them to the Gestapo?
Everyone is afforded due process.
What the fuck? This guy's crazy.
What don't you understand about yes or no?
Bro.
What can't you comprehend about yes or no questions?
I
Do you
understand
still want
being
to
a governor
abolish
is a
ICE?
different
Do you
job.
still want to abolish ICE? Yes or no?
Said I wanted to abolish ICE.
Didn't you march in a rally calling for ICE's abolishment?
Not that I can recall, Congress.
You liar!
According
This
to
guy's such a liar. It's crazy.
widespread media reports,
Oh,
you did.
God. This is
And the media is
humiliating.
always correct.
How do you rate Kamala Harris's job as border
How does
czar
it say
on
it's
a
fake
number
news?
between 1 and 10? How was she as border czar?
I wouldn't have a way to measure that. I was not in the administration.
Weren't you her
Oh my
running
God,
mate?
dude, you were running for vice president, bro.
It's in the campaign.
The vice president?
As in the campaign.
And you
wasn't
can't
part of the
rate her role.
That was
as
no
border czar on a
administration.
scale of 1 to 10. Was she great at 10 or was she a 1? Terrible.
I think her proposal that she put forward to make sure we had the bipartisan immigration.
It wasn't
There wasn't
bipartisan.
bipartisan.
Did you ever
It's wild watching him do this, floundering and dying and drowning in his own saliva as he tries his absolute best to come up and cough something out that doesn't sound absolutely deplorable.
personally speak with Kamala?
I think Kamala Harris's job as border czar under the last administration was borderline treasonous.
About Joe Biden's cognitive collapse.
Not that I can recall, Congressman.
Not as her running mate for vice president. You never once talked to her about the president and why she was nominated instead of him.
No, not that I can recall.
What kind of operation were you guys running over there?
Fantastic question. I'm really happy we're looking into the giant Democrat web of retards and frauds.
I was more concerned with Donald Trump's cognitive.
Thank God
This guy, everything's Trump. It's amazing.
Things that we
He's president and J.D. Vance is vice president and not you.
Thank God.
Have you ever served in a combat zone, Governor?
I have not, Congresswoman.
Okay. Are you still friends with school shooters?
I've never been a friend with a school shooter.
This guy, he literally is famous for saying, I was friends with school shooters.
You were friends with school shooters on the debate stage?
Oh, Congresswoman.
Yeah,
I
is
think that's very
bullying
evident.
is
As a teacher and a
bullying
parent.
is my mom was a teacher. I'm a high school dropout. We can talk about that later. Is bullying okay?
Is bullying okay
Mhm.
as a teacher?
Is bullying okay? Yes or no? Is it okay to bully somebody?
This is obviously because there was a famous quote from Timothy Waltz over here, where he was saying, we need to bully Donald Trump. We need to bully him. He's a bully, and we need to bully him.
I think
Yes
there's
or
a
no?
time to push back at a bully. So yes, I do think there's a time.
So you think it's okay to bully others?
I think it's okay to bully the bully at times.
Well, you're showing that the Democrat Party is the party
okay
of
to
violence.
waste.
Were you at Tiananmen Square?
Have I been to Tiananmen Square? I have.
Were you at Tiananmen Square?
I have been at Tiananmen Square.
When were you
Oh, as I recall,
Oh, God, this bastard.
January of 1990.
there? Okay. What is a woman?
That was before I was
Bro,
even
here we
born.
go. It's like at one after the other. And this dude can't answer and say, this is literally my Christmas. This is my Christmas.
What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
An adult human female. Come on, man.
Well, that.
I don't understand the question, ma'am. Can you put it in context?
What do you want me to say? This is
What do I want you to say? Dog, this is a congressional hearing. You are supposed to answer what you think, okay? Not what I want you to say.
I want you to say that a woman like me is an adult human female, that men can't become women. You guys are the party of violence, and you're the party erasing women. You don't respect us. You're a bigot.
True.
You're a misogynist.
Oh,
you're
shit.
a sexist. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
God damn, she killed him. Oh, my God.
She
There's
doesn't
been a
want something
murder on the
anything
floor
anymore.
of Congress. Yeah, this fat fuck is going to jail. I really don't think there's any way around it at this point. Dude was tongue-tied in all sorts of ways. Yes, ICE is like the Gestapo, but also isn't like the Gestapo. They're like the Gestapo, but I don't want them to be punished or abolished. But I do think that they are like the Gestapo, because they're like Nazis, but not like that they're like Nazis. Also, I don't know what a woman is. Dude looked suicidal when he had to say that it doesn't look like Trump is currently in the middle of doing a Holocaust. Or a Jewicide, as great professors, you know, that's the new term. That's the new thing. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about the Jewicide. Tampon Tim Waltz, truly a hero. Unbelievable. If you watch my previous video, he's been recognized by the Democratic Organization of Satanists of America, and they gave him like this whole statue of Baphomet. That's a real thing. If you didn't see my previous video, you should probably check it out, because this dude is honestly on the fast track, not just to jail, but to hell. Bro's like, I can't make my peace with God. That guy hates me for good reason, so therefore, therefore we have to placate the other guy. Obviously, he's wrong, because God does not hate him. God wants him to repent. The reality, though, is he probably won't. But what if I told you this wasn't even remotely the most entertaining part of the video? All right, well, moving on. Middle-aged woman in Portland was working as an ICE spotter, runs a red light, tries to box an ICE agent, and it goes incredibly poorly for her. You know, new achievement. You fucked around. Your reward? You're finding out.
Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. Hey. Wait.
And she runs a red. Because she's watching all these superhero movies. She keeps turning on the news to see mayors and stuff say, we have to stand up against ICE, legal law enforcement. We have to fight back. And some retarded Karen that thinks she's an X-Men, she's ready to roll, baby. Roll right into jail. Oh my. Dude, these poor ICE agents have to deal with this.
You're impeding with the federal investigation. We have you on camera.
That's right, impeding with a federal investigation. These terrorists got to go to jail.
We actually have news reporters with us in vehicle. Your case will be referred over to Homeland Security investigation for prosecution.
Makes sense to me.
You will be arrested. This is your last and final warning. Hold on a second, guys. Give me your license.
I have kids. I'm a mom. This is the excuse every single time. All right? Watch the playbook. act like a terrorist, stop law enforcement from doing their thing, listen to retarded leftist politician on the media that uses you as a pawn in order to promote their political chaos, fuck around, find out, please, I am a mom, I am a victim, please.
I will once again tell you, you have cases in danger. Put your vehicle in park and shut it off, please. I understand.
I'm just a mom. That's impeding government enforcement for some reason. Pretty weird.
You are impeding. Look where you are. You are almost causing an accident. You are surrounded by federal agents. Okay,
I understand. Again, these people are incredible. They're all like professional victims. Every single one of them, professional victims. It's wild. I mean, look, man. I thought that the reason why radical Islam was, allying up with the leftist retards is because they both just want to destroy Western civilization. I didn't realize that they borrowed the same like self-victimizing playbook as well. Start a war, lose miserably, play victim. This is literally the fucking playbook.
Director here, ma'am. Stand by. We're running the name.
Please, I am a mom. But this, unfortunately, listen, lady. This must suck to hear, but we got to squash people like you so other people don't do this.
We're going to refer this case over for enforcement action.
That's right. And every single one of these people needs to be held accountable because we can't, unfortunately, live in a lawless society.
Just a mom, please.
You got it?
Just a mom, please. Please.
Where? You turn around and get out of here.
I'm getting out of here.
Here you go. Slow down.
I'm just a girl.
Hey, guys, I got it.
Oh my
God. I got it. Everybody break away.
I'm just a girl.
Everybody break away. Kylie, look at me. Quiet. Look at me. Take a deep breath. Okay? I need you right now. Take a deep breath. I want you to pull over right here and go home. Okay?
Look into my eyes. You're Renee Good now.
Okay? Take a deep breath.
I'm shaking.
You may leave. Please turn around. I'm gonna stop traffic for you.
You can leave.
Okay?
Literally the nicest fucking guy on the planet. And everyone calls these people Nazis. All right? This person is, in my opinion, a domestic terrorist. She's stopping law enforcement from arresting an actual invasive terrorist threat in our nation. It's unbelievable. It's unbearable. They get pulled over. Oh, wham, I'm just a mom. So the leftist overlords get these people to literally ruin their own lives. It's actually crazy. And by the way, look, you notice how she said, I'm just a mom, I'm sorry, and she was scared and started sniveling? She didn't get shot. Isn't it weird how that keeps happening? Now, this is the first of 2 churches that were broken into yesterday by anti-ICE retards. This is a felony.
Renee Good!
Renee Good. Yeah, the name, it rings a bell. I don't know who that is. I never heard of Renee Good. I don't know who that person is.
Renee Good! Renee Good!
Yep, so that's them storming into a church and screaming about some lady Renee Good. Never heard of her.
Hands up! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
I'd imagine the crimes here would be trespassing and unlawful soliciting.
Don't shoot!
Oh, someone in my chat told me that Renee Good was the fat retarded lesbian that tried to murder an ICE officer and got killed in self-defense. She's the fat retard that committed suicide by cop. Her, the new hero of the left. I got it. So you're telling me that heroes on the right are people that do their best to bring the world closer to God, and people that are heroes on the left are fucking psychopath, fat, retarded, lesbian bitches that try to murder ICE officers? That's crazy. Yep, so just storming churches now because they found a new way. They found a new way to be annoying. I'm no historian, but I don't think there's ever been a situation in the last 100 years where people storming the churches were the good guys. Look, man, you don't need to be a historian or anything, but I've said this the entire time. The left is an anti-God movement. I really do believe it. It's pretty insane how this keeps happening. attacking people and chanting the pro-Hamas stuff in front of synagogues, storming churches. Look, man, divine retribution is gonna come, and it's gonna come swiftly. It always does. Here is another instance. Conservatives are calling for the arrest of this anti-ICE psycho who stormed a Minneapolis church to intimidate Christians.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! Jesus would dine with immigrants. You do not.
Dude, I absolutely and utterly love, it's my favorite thing. It's people being like, I don't believe in religion at all, but let me tell you what your religion is actually about. Yeah, I don't believe in any of the things that are written in your religion, but let me tell you what you have to believe in. My guy, my dog, sit the fuck down, okay? And let your boyfriend continue to penetrate you. Us non-heathens are talking. This motherfucker really thinks that the one commandment in the Bible is turn the other cheek or love thy neighbor. I'm telling you, this is what all the retards do. They all do it constantly. These people don't understand the first thing about the Bible or about any religion at all, actually. These people know nothing, and therefore they try to put themselves and take their morality and shove it down your throat instead of people that are actually open-minded and wanting to accept God's morality to be their guiding light. All right? God is loving and fair, but God is also just and ruthless when he needs to be. All right? I'll be completely upfront with you. People forget a lot of what it actually says in the Bible. God commanded the absolute destruction of the Amalekites. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I have noted what Amalek did to Israel in opposing them on the way that they came up out of Egypt. Now go and strike Amalek, devote to the destruction all that they have. Do not spare them. Kill both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. In Samuel 15:2. Or what about in Joshua 6:17? And the city and all that is within it should be devoted to the Lord for destruction. They devoted all in the city to destruction, destroying the Canaanites that lived there. Look, man, Exodus 23:23. My angel will go before you and bring you to the Amorites, the Hittites. I will blot them out. You shall not bow down to their gods nor serve them. You shall utterly overthrow them and break their pillars into pieces. Deuteronomy 9:3. And the Lord your God is he who gives over before you a consuming fire. He will destroy them and subdue them before you. Look, man, you want to play the chicken shit game of how you have to be super nice to people that are coming into our country to rape, murder, and kill us? Well, unfortunately, retard, you worship the wrong God.
Touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't. Don't
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities?
Why are you not standing with the people that are scamming, defrauding, and killing us? The Somalis. Why? Why are you not standing with... Dog, immigrate legally. Why are we doing this? Don't break the law. Don't steal our shit. Come on, man. This has nothing to do with Christianity. These people just hate God, and they hate you.
Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity?
Because I support the attack on the Somalis. I support it. I support it! Say what you want. I fully support it. 100%. 10 toes on the ground. We need more people. Insurrection Act. Every single one of these retards needs to go. Sorry, man.
Where are you?
I believe in justice. I actually have a moral backbone and a moral spine. And yes, I get it from the Bible. Not like you, who gets it from whatever fucking NPC programming just reprogrammed your brain today. All right? 5 years ago, you didn't give a shit about this. 10 years ago, you supported it when Obama was doing it. These people are all retarded. They have not one moral bone in their body, not one principle that can't be shattered or broken or manipulated. And it's so obvious. So they come here to a place where people are accepting that there is a higher power. They come here to a place where people are devoted to truth and justice, and they just can't possibly stand the idea that these people have principles and they're actually fighting for God.
You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. But we know you live an easy life, don't you? A very easy life while people are starving.
You have no idea. Like, you have no idea what these people are going through at all. And again, I'm sorry that you're starving. You should go to church, maybe. I don't know. From what I understand, if you're a very hungry, starving guy and you go to church, they'll find you some food. They'll figure shit out for you, man.
Shame! Out now! Out now!
Yeah, and then they invade the church. They start chanting and screaming and yelling. I mean, I'll be real here. They started off attacking ICE officers, but then they realized if you're a fat, retarded lesbian that tries to run over an ICE officer, you might get killed in self-defense. It might actually end up accidentally being a suicide by cop. So then they decided to start attacking protesters in the streets. Then they started invading churches. Well, it's only gonna get better. It's only gonna get better.
Nazis! Fuck you fucking traitor! How dare you have a rainbow fucking umbrella, you Nazi bitch! How dare you try to steal that from our people! Fuck you, you Nazi traitor!
Right, this is just screaming at people walking into a church.
You indoctrinate these children so you can fucking rape them. Isn't that what it is, you fucking asshole?
I love how this is like the left is like the infinite pedophile party, once again showing their true love and worth. It's pretty incredible how this keeps happening. The left, by the way, radically pro-Islam across the board, you know, the people that marry 9-year-olds in the Middle East. So they support all those guys. That's all cool and fine. All right. They support transitioning children and grooming them from a young age. That's all great. Absolutely. But a Christian trying to raise their child to love God? Wow, that's fascism.
Is that what it fucking is, man? You think you're gonna bring your kids here and we're gonna spare you while you
like
fucking...
This dude's yelling and screaming. This is little kid here. This is
support
so
the
sad.
bombing of children in Gaza, you fucking... these fucking Nazi little bitches. Goddamn.
I love how he's like, in one sentence, he's like, you indoctrinate your kids? And then it's like, meanwhile, in Gaza, where they started a war and lost miserably, and all these people are just absolutely losing their mind. Like, they have nothing. They have zero actual spine. It's the craziest thing. Like actual NPCs roaming around, bumping into each other, hitting each other with the NPC talking points. Couple of pre-recorded sentences that they keep saying again. Donald Trump's a fascist. He's a Nazi. He's Hitler. Epstein. Gaza. ICE agents bad. Like, it's honestly incredible, and I could argue forever about how Donald Trump actually stopped the war in Gaza. I could argue forever about how the war in Gaza started because Hamas decided to be terrorists and murder innocent people, capture them and refuse to let them go. But these people don't actually care about anything. They don't actually have any principles. That's the craziest part. Now, before we continue, and I show you the Don Lemon segment, which is more church invasions, reminder, Biden's Department of Justice jailed all these pro-life Christians for praying at an abortion clinic. All right, because that apparently violated the fucking bullshit act, where people could have their opinions in peace and not get intimidated or whatever. And of course, when it comes to going after Christians or whatever, Biden administration was super on board with that. And that's why I am so tired of the Trump administration not going harder. But they are. They're starting to actually cook tremendously. So this is Don Lemon. He is a disgraced CNN host who was fired for being gay and retarded. So anyway, this is him doing a group struggle session in regards to before they storm a church.
So now this is where we have been in that lot and they blocked it off.
This random dude just attacks him.
Do we know why? I don't know why they blocked it off because we were able to come through and park there. So I don't know how...
White supremacists!
He's yelling at Don Lemon, the wokest motherfucker of all time.
That gonna mean...
This is a white supremacist agenda!
Why do you say that?
Fuck off.
No, me, dude, I'm not here.
Whose team are you on?
Come on, man.
Whose team are you on? I hated you a second ago, but now all of a sudden I like you. That you told me you're on the right side. Dude, these people are incredible. They're actually incredible. They're the most racist motherfuckers on the planet.
This is Don Lemon.
All right, man.
All right. Well,
Sorry, brother. I'm so sorry.
Like, really?
My bad, we're besties.
No, I'm so sorry.
on our team.
Yeah, so why do you say that?
This is a white supremacist agenda. They're not just...
I love how he thinks that this is a person who he needs to interview. Like, this is a perspective we need to hear. A guy that just yells at random people in the streets, standing next to a furry.
Going after criminals? I'm so sorry I went after you there. I didn't recognize
Do I
you.
look upset?
There's all kinds of folks out here with media.
Yeah, and he just attacks them randomly.
They're not just going after.
And by the way, he attacks them randomly, and he's holding a shovel. like this could be a murder weapon really quickly.
Criminals. They're going door to door and they're targeting any black and brown person they can find.
They're not.
And
That's not true.
all of America is next.
Yep, every single person is getting deported. Dude, it's incredible. Like this is an actual struggle session. It's the saddest thing in the world. So then, Don Lemon, who you'd think would know better, because this is actually illegal, all right? You're not allowed to threaten people at places of worship and stuff like that, according to the SAFE Act or whatever, the FACE Act, according to the FACE Act. But he did anyway. So this is him actually storming a church.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging.
No, okay, all right. This is the big Don Lemon lie that no one wants to call out. There is no such thing as due process as some sort of proper noun. All right, due process is what it literally means, the process that they are due. And they all get their due process. They get deported if they are illegal in the country. Their due process is the process of figuring out if they're illegal in the country. If they're illegal in the country, they gots to go. All right, there's no such thing as secret special due process involving juries and shit like that when you invade the country illegally. This is complete and utter horseshit.
Them and hurting them
and they need to twist up this narrative and literally throw fuel on the fire. The craziest thing is this dude was a CNN host that was glazing Obama for deporting illegals. And now he's literally become like this super vigilante anti-ICE retard.
And not abiding by the Constitution.
You are not abiding by the Constitution. First of all, right here by storming a church. And second of all, you're not abiding by the Constitution because Donald Trump was elected president of the United States by the majority of the American people on the mandate to deport illegal aliens. You are fighting against the will of the American people by harassing them in public. Like, my guy, you're the fucking villain here. It's so obvious.
When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember,
he's like explaining how like this is a totally natural, normal response. Like, dude, like people just normally get upset and angry. You know what I'm saying? Just get upset and angry. So that's why we storm churches and harass children.
Civil rights movement was about. The civil rights.
This has nothing to do with the civil rights movement. Okay, these people broke into our country illegally. They have to go. Like, we have to stop playing this fucking game. You lost the fucking election. Just sit down and drink a nice tall glass of get the fuck over it. Oh my God.
This movement was about these very kinds of protests. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt.
The whole point is the disruption. Thanks, sir. You literally want to annoy people and harass people into compliance. Thank you for making your intentions clear.
To make uncomfortable.
And in a church.
And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortable people uncomfortably...
Yeah, no, I think this is like the most insane shit ever. And like these people tell you, you're not a real Christian. I go spend my day making other people uncomfortable as possible. Because the more uncomfortable they are, the more likely they will, curl over and let us rape them. Yup. Dear Don Lemon, has the FBI showed up at your door yet? You committed a federal crime. See FACE Act 18, USC 248. And this act is an actual law that describes the federal crime of intimidating or harassing people at their place of worship and to try to intimidate them out of their faith or whatever. So anyway, Don Lemon decides to interview some pastors and in this church, that they stormed and harassed people in, and he responded pretty freaking well.
This is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So,
agreed.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a Constitution and the First Amendment to freedom of speech. And
there's a freedom of speech First Amendment, so therefore I'm literally going to ruin your life. I'm going to show up at your churches and I am going to scream and not let you pray to your God because I believe in the First Amendment. These people are all retarded. It's crazy. The First Amendment doesn't say anywhere that you're supposed to go harass people in churches. Yes, this is absolutely shameful. All right, even if it was legal, which it isn't, it would be shameful.
To assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here.
I'm being very respectful, he says, as he barges into them in middle of a service. This was a CNN host. This dude needs to go to jail. We have to stop pansying around to these retards. Guy, we have to take our culture back. This is unacceptable.
To worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay, that's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding?
We're about.
Yes, Jesus would deport every single illegal alien. Oh my God, these people are fucking retarded. It's insane. There are like 5 books of the Bible dedicated to protecting your borders. And I mean, not just like a couple of verses here and there. Joshua, Judges, Samuel 1, Samuel 2, Kings 1, and Kings 2 are all dedicated to protecting your borders, protecting your people, and fighting for your God. All right? That's literally exactly what Jesus would do. It's the most retarded argument I've ever heard.
Love these folks.
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
unless you're here to worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. Yeah. We're here to worship.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Obviously, huh? I'm also a Christian. I'm also radically pro-gay butt sex. I don't know if you understand, but these things can actually work together according to Retard World. But again, they don't actually care about the Word of God. The Word of God is irrelevant to these people. They want to mold God to man's image as opposed to be willing to accept that we are molded in God's image. I'm telling you, man, the woke Christians and the woke Jews, these guys, honestly, I feel like they're like the major threat to Western civilization. The people coming under the guise of being an ally and twisting it. It's the most satanic shit you could possibly think of. Look, I have a very controversial take. This is probably going to piss some people off, but I say it anyway because I say basically everything that I actually believe. I don't believe in the whole. I'm only going to tell you some things because I want you to think of me as like a different person. No, I just say it. In my opinion, the Word of God is absolute. All right, and if you were a Jewish person or a Christian person or whatever, and you don't believe that that is the case, then quite literally, you are fighting for the wrong side. Like, you can't be a guy that's like, oh, I believe in God and the Bible. I believe in love thy neighbor, but I don't believe in all these other things. My guy, you're not worshiping the same God. If it's not all true, then it's not divine, and it's not the Word of God, which I don't believe. But it's clearly what you believe. I believe it is all the Word of God. So therefore, you have to take all of it, or none of it. You have the right to that opinion, I guess. I'll pray for you that you find the truth, but you have every right to not believe in any of it. But if you're going to believe and pick and choose your favorites, well then, sir, that's not being religious. That's being a heathen, a heretic, and satanic. And this dude basically went around interviewing people in the middle of a service. I'm like actually livid about this. It's crazy. It's honestly insane.
These people
I do. I pray for my Christian brothers and sisters in the country. I really do. Like, we're serving the same guy, you know? We're worshiping the same God. And it's insane to me that it just gets crapped on in a Western civilization, a place that's a Christian country based on biblical values, and it's just absolutely humiliated on a daily basis.
come into our house and they've interrupted our worship. This is a house of peace, and we try to proclaim that. And this stirs division and rancor. And in the end, it's not helpful. Yep. Ultimately, I believe they've lost. They've emptied a house of worship. Everybody's gone home. Their point has been proven worthless. And so...
Yeah, good job, guys. Good job, guys. You managed to get a lot of people to stop praying that day and leave because they didn't want to get harassed by a bunch of lunatic domestic terrorists and violent LGBT retards.
And I think they lose. But more importantly, if I was to break into any of their houses uninvited, cause derision and upset according to their values, I would be kicked out ultimately. It's not a good way. I feel violated. I feel interrupted. I feel angry.
May I ask you something? When you were saying if you had showed up at their house, They're saying that people are showing up at houses where
Oh
they're
my God! Oh my God! This dude cannot take a single bit of pushback. It's crazy.
Yes. Without due process, and breaking and entering a house. One that we saw, I've been watching from New York, with a battering ram into someone's private property, and there's no recourse. There's no, you understand what I'm saying?
This is all part of a much larger dialogue, in my opinion.
I love how this dude's argument was, okay, so you're saying that breaking into your house is bad. But they broke into houses. But they broke into houses to arrest people that were probably criminals or terrorists or rapists, probably. They don't break it. For the record, ICE agents do not break into houses unless they actually do have a warrant or reason to believe that it is an actually very violent person, like a gang member or something. Like, he's taking an extreme case where they do break into a house for good reason, and he's basically saying they're breaking into houses everywhere, which is not true.
On one side are people who watched.
People are crazy.
A previous administration bring 12 million people in over the course of 4 years, and many of them undocumented, many of them criminals, etc.
I think they're all criminals. Every single person that entered the country illegally is a criminal.
This is another administration's corrective. Now,
that's right, and he was elected, so fuck off.
Whether you agree with the policies or procedures, I think I could actually be sympathetic to some of the things where there have been.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway, so he's like, this is the most reasonable guy of all time. But Don Lemon is still just such a piece of shit. It doesn't matter.
American citizens, many of them, most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions.
You're allowed to detain people, okay? If they attack ICE agents, they get detained. All right? If they break into federal property, they get detained. If they steal ICE agents' weapons or papers or ransack their cars or loot their vehicles or throw bricks at their heads, they get detained. He frames it as, there are people getting detained without a criminal record. Yeah, not enough. Detain way more of them. Every single person that obstructs justice, in my opinion, needs to go to jail. Literally, absolutely, without a doubt. No bail. Put them in, let them sit there until their court date.
Criminal record.
I'm not going to get into the weeds.
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's pretty.
This dude isn't some political mastermind. He's just a dude that showed up on a Sunday to pray, and he has to deal with this.
I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that? Why honestly,
okay.
let me talk to you just on the facts. Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know that undocumented?
Do you believe that? I'm going to tell you some very slanted leftoid facts.
People and immigrants commit far less crime than...
I'm so happy he's done with him. It's like, you can't ever reason with these people. It's completely irrelevant. You cannot possibly reason with them. They don't care about what you have to say. They only exist to be a thorn in your side.
Than American citizens?
We're done here. We're done here.
Then natural-born Americans? You won't listen.
If you could ask...
I'm giving you the facts. It is.
Give me facts. I would have a conversation.
But I can respond to you.
No,
did Jesus stand with the oppressed?
Because he doesn't want to listen to facts.
He doesn't want to listen to facts. His facts are, but you see, statistically, the illegal aliens that break into the country commit less crime statistically than the people that are born to civilian. Irrelevant. Does not matter. All right? Because according to Donnie Lemon over here, if only 1 million women get raped, but not 1.2 million get raped, it's actually a good thing that the 1 million women got raped. He literally girl maths this entire illegal alien situation. I've heard this talking point a million times. Oh, the illegal aliens statistically commit less crimes. But why do we need those crimes, though? But those crimes never needed to happen. In my opinion, one woman getting raped by an illegal alien is too many. And the Biden administration should have apologized for every single individual case and done everything they possibly can to prevent that shit from happening. But they didn't. So only 1 million women got raped, as opposed to from savage Americans, where, more women would have gotten raped. That's your argument, Don. It's crazy that they literally think this works. They think people are so stupid that they can't see through, the infinite leftoid lies and bullshit. Yeah, we let in 1 million illegals, and yeah, 100,000 of them are criminals, but do you know that statistically, if they were Americans, 120,000 of them would be criminals? Dog, what the fuck are you, what are you doing? But anyway, that's the classic leftoid tactic, and it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. So Don Lemon sees kids fleeing the church, obviously, because, you know, they destroyed the church. They broke in, literally, barged in, and started screaming at people. Let's see what his riveting social commentary is.
Watch this guy here. Look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know.
Look, he's hugging his kid.
I just imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but.
I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for these people. All right, so he acknowledges that he participated in a movement where they broke into a church and traumatized a bunch of kids. All right, so he acknowledges completely that that is the fact. All right.
Again, careful. It's very slippery right here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about, and so.
That's what protesting is about. Traumatizing children in a church.
Oh.
Leftists, you can't fucking reason with them. You can't reason with them. They want you dead. They want you dead and traumatized. It's really obvious. I know we elected a president to do a thing, and he's doing the thing that he was elected to do, but I disagree with that thing. So therefore, I'm going to traumatize as many children as I possibly can. Leftist Messiah, ladies and gentlemen. We found him. We found him. All right, but he only said that once. All right, maybe it was an accident. He was on slippery ice. All right, this dude's getting humiliated by ice wherever he goes. Ice agents in the streets, ice agents under his feet, and he's having a rough time. But he probably doesn't say that a second time, that the purpose of this entire movement is to traumatize children, right?
You heard what some of the folks said in there. You know, that this is. They shouldn't be there, and you know. True. They shouldn't be uncomfortable, and this is
well, why should you break into their place of worship and make them uncomfortable? Why would you do that? If you're a decent human being.
House and whatever. That's what protesting is about.
That's what protesting is about. Harassing children at churches. Thank you, Donnie. Very cool.
People uncomfortable. You may not like it.
You may not like harassing children, but Don is a professional child harasser. He loves doing that kind of thing. Allegedly.
I mean, if they went into a church, you know, any church, you heard.
Yeah, so that's him saying that the purpose of protesting is harassing people. Pretty good. It's pretty awesome. Like, this is like, obviously he's doing it for views on social media. That's why he personally is doing it. And well, people are talking about it. You're welcome. I'll cover it too. I know this is going to sound a little pompous or whatever, but Don Lemon, ever since you were fired from CNN, you get less views than I do. Me, blue retard on the internet covering your insanity is going to get more views than your insanity. Definitely subscribe to more blue retard news. But don't worry, because Don Lemon might be a terrorist, but you know what he isn't? He isn't stupid. Now, this is his response. This is his response to people calling him out for invading a church.
MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind.
Oh boy, I'm probably a fake news MAGA. Let's see what's going on.
There's something that's not even true.
Oh my God.
So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett, Dillon or whatever. So
okay. All right.
I have no affiliation to that organization.
He has no affiliate to the organization that broke into a church that he was with?
I didn't even know they were going to this church.
He didn't know they were going to break into a church, but he broke into the church too?
So we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests.
Oh, they were chronicling protests by going into a church and talking and harassing random people praying there?
Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which...
We did an act of journalism, ladies and gentlemen. We were there on the scene to chronicle retards harassing people. Us, though, we would never harass people. This dude literally has, and that's why I wanted to show you the clips earlier, of him explaining how it's so important to harass people. Because if you're not harassing people, then your protesting isn't really doing a good job. It's my First Amendment right, he even said to the pastor.
Was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism.
He's scared.
It's
called journalism.
Amendment, all that stuff.
Yeah, he's like, my First Amendment right allows me to harass as many people as I want, actually. Harassment is protected by the First Amendment. Did you not know that?
For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist, there you go. So why don't you talk to...
Dude, This guy's awesome. He's so scared. He's so scared.
The actual person who is in charge of the organization.
Yeah, they should go to jail too.
And whose idea it was to have the protest.
I agree. You should both go to jail. Maybe in the same cell. They could put you in the Brooklyn jail. That would be sick. Wait, isn't this dude literally a New Yorker? Bro, they could put you in the New York jail with Maduro and Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried and Luigi Mangione. You could have orgies in there. You could do what you do best. Suck.
Church before you start blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea.
Yeah, so he gives us the fake smile. He's obviously terrified. He knows he's going to jail. It's happening. And I love how everyone's like, I thought you were a free speech absolutist, but you don't like when I say I want to kill the president of the United States. These people, they don't understand literally anything about the rule of law at all. It's crazy. I thought you supported free speech, but you don't support me breaking into a church and harassing people there? You don't support me harassing children in a church? But I thought you supported First Amendment. Bro, leftist discourse is honestly truly incredible. It's like, I don't know, man. For people that don't believe in reality, all right? Like, they think that men can be women and women can be men. I guess, like, why are we even surprised when they're like, oh, yeah? You support the First Amendment, but you don't support me harassing children in a church? You're such a hypocrite. You're such a hypocrite. It's crazy. So, Right Angle News Network released this information. Anti-ICE agitators led by failed CNN host Don Lemon stormed Minneapolis church this morning, etc. And this is what he had to say.
Fake right-wing propaganda news alert from this supposed right-angle news network. Supposed network.
Fake news propaganda. He would know that. He worked for CNN. No one knows about fake news propaganda like this guy.
Led a protest into a church this morning in Minneapolis. That is complete BS. First of all, I had no idea who the organization was until I arrived this morning.
Oh, he only joined a protest into a church. He didn't know anything about it, though.
And number two, that's what every journalist should be doing. Exactly what I did. What I did.
Every journalist should be harassing children in a church. Yes! Yes! This guy, this dude, he knows.
Was report, chronicle, and commit an act of journalism, which is what every journalist should be doing.
Right.
That's what happened. So if you really want to know the truth about what happened, why don't you check...
By the way, this dude had a crash out when Nick Shirley was interviewing Somalis for their fraud. I'm not exaggerating. This guy's incredible, right? Like he'll have a complete crash out. He's like, Nick Shirley, how dare he even ask the Somalis about the fraud? That's obviously racism. Anyway, this dude breaks into churches to harass children.
Check it out at the Don Lemon Show on YouTube, on Substack, and on Twitch. And follow us on any of our socials if you really want to know the truth.
Yeah, I love how this dude is like, they called me a bad guy. So it's time for me to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, nice, dude. Very cool. Appreciate it. For those of you curious, this is his YouTube channel in case you really want to check out his incredible, riveting 20,000 view video over here, or 20,000 view video over here, or 40,000 view video over here. Over here, he's like, dude, I'm a blue retard on the internet. This dude came straight from CNN, okay, and I am literally 5 times bigger than him. It's crazy. Dude, independent media is absolutely destroying right now. It's honestly crazy. So Nicki Minaj tweeted about this. Don Cuck-Suckin' Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up. Honestly, based as fuck. See, the Hamas protesters that call for the murder of Jews, at least those guys stand in front of the synagogue. I haven't seen them storm synagogues yet, so that's pretty good. I mean, I think that's actually a pretty valid point. I mean, whatever. I guess I got to level up their game or something. Caroline Leavitt, press secretary of the United States, said, and this is incredible, President Trump will not tolerate the intimidation and harassment of Christians in their sacred places of worship. The Department of Justice has launched a full investigation into the despicable incident that took place earlier today in a church in Minnesota. This is what's happening, bro. This is incredible. New achievement, jailed over harassing children in a church. Your award, anal sex with P. Diddy. Woo, let's go.
Tell us why you're doing this.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there
That's us. Not violent and also not fat. That's right. It's all fat women, man.
Then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now.
That's what we're about to do. That's the plan. Now, it's really nice that they're so polite about it. The way they explain their entire strategy is literally just go and harass people in public. But yeah, it's protected by the First Amendment. Yeah, well, I'm protected by the Second Amendment. Now, I know that this hasn't been the case with churches, but in synagogues, Jewish synagogues, ever since October 7th, there have been so many acts of violence and vandalism, chanting outside, beating people up in front of synagogues. There's been so much of that. Basically, everyone carries in synagogues these days in the United States. Everyone has a weapon. So, I obviously don't want something like this to happen because there would be casualties. That's what we would call a reverse Jewicide. And to everyone screaming about Islamophobia, dog, did you know that there is more anti-Christian hate crimes in the United States than anti-Muslim hate crimes in the United States? And did you know that there are more anti-Jewish hate crimes in the United States than hate crimes of any other religion or ethnicity combined per year? Pretty crazy how that keeps happening. It's beyond hilarious that Don Lemon filmed himself committing a felony, then posted it online to make it easier for the FBI to prosecute him. It really is incredible. Don Lemon is going to prison for violating the FACE Act, and you're blackpilling. You're blackpilling. Oh my God. And yeah, it is happening. This is the Attorney General. The Civil Rights is investigating the potential violations of the federal FACE Act by these people desecrating a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers. Oh my God. Don Lemon going to jail. Oh, it's beautiful. It's everything I've ever wanted, man. Oh, dude, yes. Tim Waltz going to jail. Oh, Lord, why have you overshowered me with so much goodness? This bald, Karen, retard, lesbian. Oh, that's beautiful. That's everything I ever wanted. That's everything I ever wanted. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of Fucking Around and Finding Out. Very excited for the next episode of Fuck Around and Find Out, which will be coming out also today, probably. There's a lot going on, and this blue retard has a lot to do. That's right. Everything happens. I cover it all. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. To my Christian brothers and sisters watching this video, please keep going to church. Keep praying. There is one God. He loves us, and he is absolute justice. For they sow the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. Hosea 8:7. Fa-fo. Bye.
Man and